Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Todd Cheek coming at you with another episode of Living Your Best Life. And as always, want to say thank you for giving me some of your time this evening, this morning, this afternoon, whenever, wherever you are in the universe right now while you're watching this episode. Now, if you're asking, well, what is the show all about? Well, I'm going to tell you. We invite professionals on to talk about what they do and how what they do is contributing to a healthier society. For some, yes, even a wealthier society. But overall, what we simply want is a better society. So that's ultimately what I hope we all want anyway, is a better society. So that's what we do on Living Your Best Life. That's what we do on the show. Now, today, you're in for a real treat. The first time I spoke with Dr. Belinda Ferguson, I had it was just an awesome conversation because she's just so knowledgeable. So I guarantee you, by the time you are done with this show today, you will be smarter. Okay, you will be a much more intelligent person because she's going to bring it. All right, she brings it. But anyway, Dr. Belinda Ferguson, out of the North Carolina area, kind of down near the Charlotte area, a little bit below Charlotte. She's going to be our guest on the show today, and I know you're going to enjoy it because if you are interested and if you are on the journey of weight loss, if you are on the journey of anti-aging or just trying to feel better overall, yes, you're in for a treat, like I said. But anyway, everyone, Dr. Belinda Ferguson of Bella Medical Associates is going to be our guest, and right after the commercial, we're going to get on to the interview. Alrighty. So everyone, I'll catch you on the next, not on the next, but on the other side of the commercial, which is our challenge. All right, the Well Beyond 50 Reset Challenge. Make sure you get on that webinar to make sure you find out what that challenge is all about. Alrighty, so that's that, everybody. I'll see you on the other side. We're going to be talking with Dr. Belinda Ferguson. Y'all take care. Peace. So welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, and a happy whatever day it is while you're watching this episode here. But anyway, listen, like I was the commercial, the 30-second commercial, the challenge is on. So let's get in on the challenge. At least get on the webinar to find out what this Well Beyond 50 Reset Challenge is all about. So I encourage you at least to check out what the challenge is by chiming in or tuning into the webinars that happen on Thursdays and Sunday evenings. Alrighty, so the challenge is happening again. It's always rolling around, so I want to make sure that you are aware of it. So enough about me, enough about the challenge. Let's get on to this exciting episode because I have an awesome young lady that's going to be coming on, and she's going to be spreading the knowledge about what it means to live a healthier life. And I had just an awesome time having a conversation with her. And we found out that we can just talk, forever because we're really passionate about what we do and what we're looking to help and who we're looking to help in this county, this state, this country, because we're not too far from each other. She's in Charlotte and I am, of course, in Greensboro. But I want to take the time to say thank you so much to Dr. Belinda Ferguson for hanging out with me for a few minutes today. So, Doc, thank you so much. It's been a while since we had an opportunity to speak. So thanks for hanging out.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. And I would like to say that I'm on the outskirts of Charlotte, North Carolina. So I'm actually in Albemarle, but depending on how far you're going into Charlotte, I'm close to you. So I always like to let people know that.
Perfect. You're still close enough to me. You're not in another, you're not 500 miles away, which I'm glad. So, but like I said, thank you so much. So, what I invited you on to the show, the platform, because of your approaches to overall health within society. Most of us are pretty much accustomed to, going to the doctor and having a medical experience with regards to going to the doctor. And if you're in my age range, especially 50 and above, let's just go with that, right? You've been going to the doctor for years now, and you either are better because of it, or you still are not doing as well as you know that you should be doing. So I wanted to invite you onto the show because you have some more functional and integrative approaches to overall wellness, in which I think we are kind of more so gearing towards and wanting to know more about. So definitely set us up, Doc, with who you are and what you do.
Okay. So I am Dr. Belinda Ferguson, family nurse practitioner, and I own Bella Medical Associates, and I also have providers that work with me as well, and along with other individuals that work with me. So what Bella Medical Associates is about, and I have 23 years of healthcare experience and working in a variety of multiple settings. So again, what Bella Medical Associates is about, I like to say that we are performance that's powered by wellness. And what we do is I always like to tell people, whether you're an individual striving for balance with your hormones, weight loss, or disease prevention, or an employer and investing in your team, we deliver that high targeted individual solutions and just the recommendations that restore your energy, sharpen focus, and really drive those results so that you thrive in your life, that you thrive in your work-life balance, and you thrive in your health. And so again, we help individuals and we assist organizations in helping to get their individuals well. So as far as when it comes to what you were saying about you know, you're constantly going to medical providers and attempting to improve your health. I just always feel like that everyone wants to improve their health. It's just the correct way to do it or receiving the information of how to improve your health. Healthcare works when healthcare works, and healthcare
Mhm.
doesn't work when healthcare doesn't work. I try not to get wrapped up in those different names because it can be confusing when we start saying, functional medicine, integrative, the holistic. We're,
Mm,
we, we really are about healthcare. That the bottom line is what we should be about: healthcare, helping that individual. However, it's a broken system. It's a broken system. Some parts work and some parts does not work. I have individuals that will come to me with, their labs are normal. And the reason for that is because allopathic is the conventional way of healthcare. And again, I try not to go off on a tangent with all these different names, but so I'm going to say personalized healthcare or medical care because that's truly the way I approach my patients and my clients from a personalized standpoint. So because those labs are normal, I'm not going to say, well, your labs are normal, see you later, go exercise some more, go eat some more. Well, if that was working, it would be working. You could tell the individual to do that and they would be feeling better. However, that's not it. So again, you have to come or approach that individual, meet them where they're at, and it has to be truly personalized for them. So again, when an individual comes with those labs started that are normal, however, they're telling me the symptoms that they're feeling, then that's when it's truly time to dive into that individual situation and to really figure out and taking out the guesswork. So when I say figure out, it's not even figuring out, it's I go with the test, don't guess. Meaning, once you have taken the approach of the conventional testing, then it's time to move into the personalized or that individualized testing, which is a specialized testing. So there's testing out here that you can do that will test you at the DNA level. So when you're testing someone at their DNA level, you're looking at their mitochondria, you're looking at their genes, you're looking at what's specifically happening with that individual versus looking at those conventional labs and saying, well, your labs look fine, so you're fine. Again, with those specialized labs or with that specialized testing, we are truly looking at what's happening with your DNA. It will tell you what supplements you need. It will tell you which exercise will work. It will tell you which exercise will not work. It will tell you which medications will work, which medications will not work. And I'm blown away with, as I got more into the specialized medicine or specialized healthcare. Again, I try not to get into the integrative and functional, but when I ventured off onto that side of healthcare, I was so in awe and blown away with, why are we not practicing this way?
Mhm.
Why is this not the standard? And we know why that's not the standard, so I'm not going to go there.
Yeah.
However, it exists. However, when you have a medical provider who doesn't specialize in certain areas or use those tools, then some of them truly don't know that these special testings or these special tools exist. So they really can't tell you about those. So when you, as a medical provider, when you dive deeper into healthcare, you tend to learn more. And it's that aha moment. Like I feel like a kid in a candy store. I'm like, oh my goodness, this
Mhm.
exists. So again, when I have, for an example, when I have that patient that comes to me and they're on 4 different anti-anxiety medications, or, they're taking 2 psychotic medications, and I'm like, okay, let's take the madness out of this. We're gonna do a simple test that will tell you this works. This does not work. So it's gonna take the guesswork out of you spending years of taking that medication that's not working. Or you take this one medication, that medication stops working, so they add another medication to help the first medication. The second medication is giving you some type of symptoms, so they place you on a third medication because the second medication isn't working. So now you're on 3 different medications, and later, it keeps escalating from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a good amount of
Yeah.
information, but good information, like I said. And a lot of it is, it's discouraging, I will say, because that's been my issue for the last few years, Doc. I'll be honest with you. With, like you said, our healthcare system is broken. Healthcare works when it works, like you say, and
Mhm.
healthcare doesn't work when it doesn't work.
Exactly.
And so in certain aspects, it does. Um, but at the same time, too, um, as people that are not informed or aware enough to know where they can find answers,
Yeah.
um, I feel bad because most people are pretty much caught up into their day-to-day world and lives that they don't have time to investigate some of these other things, or just the mental capacity to do it.
Yeah.
And so you said something which made me wonder, when you're talking about like the strategic approaches to customized um, wellness through DNA testing and those kinds of things, where you can actually recommend workout routines, of course, nutritional protocols and solutions, solutions for individuals based on those labs. How many of us are going up the wrong tree? uh, because if a lot of us are doing a workout that's not really, designed for our body type or our DNA type, how many of us are going up the wrong tree?
A lot. I'll put it
Wow.
that way. And really, I'll say it like this because, and I know, life be lifing. That's just it, and
Yeah,
it
exactly. Yeah.
be overwhelming. And the sad part is that, as healthcare and the medical providers, it's our responsibility to know it, to be able to say, hey, let's take this approach, let's take this route, let's do this. It's truly not the patient's responsibility to say, it's not your responsibility to know all of the testing that's available. Meaning,
Mhm.
we do want you to be proactive with your health. So, for an example, virtual, I have a virtual practice and I love virtual. And with the patients that I see, I love when they schedule that appointment and they're like, hey, Dr. Ferguson, this, and this is happening with me. And I've done some research about this, and that. So, what do you think about it? I love it, because they're
Mhm.
being proactive with their health. So, I'm
Yeah.
going to lead from there. But it's not your responsibility to know all of it, but to know some of it. But it's our or the medical provider's responsibility to know all of it, or to know how to go and research it and get that information that we need to be able to treat you accordingly. Okay.
Hmm.
So yeah, as an individual navigating healthcare, you're not going to be able to know all of this stuff. And like I'm still learning too about
Yeah.
the different modalities and tools, but however, I do know a lot and I'm blown away with it. Had I known this when I first started in healthcare, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's truly amazing. Um,
Yeah.
but again, with all of so you're not doing it incorrectly. I'll say it this way. It's just that you don't have access or are not aware of the tools that are available to truly optimize your health, to truly get
Mm.
where you need to be at. It's available, it's there. However, it's like locked away. I'll say it that way, or not
Yeah.
really. It's set aside where I guess you not saying I guess it's just set aside in a different area
Yeah.
that one doesn't have access to. And when I say it that way, when it comes to specialized care, specialized medicines, specialized supplements, it's on a different level. I would tend to say that again, it's customized care, it's customized medicine. However, it's more of that concierge. I'll say it that way. It's concierge care. It's
Hmm.
true that care that's specifically designed for you. And sometimes when the individual learn about it or we do explain how it works, we have quite a few individuals that will say, well, insurance doesn't like to pay for some specialized or customized medicine or
Hmm.
customized.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's the downfall to it. However, always lean from first I need to know what is your definition of wellness? What does it mean for you to
Hmm.
well? I need to know where you're at, where you're coming from. What is your definition? Because your definition of wellness might not be the same definition that I have. So I need to understand that.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to me understanding your definition, really what's important to you and what's not important to you. And then to top it off is understanding where is your mindset when it comes to helping
Yeah.
you. You have to be willing to help you more than I'm willing to help you. So I'll say it that way. And again,
Yeah.
that mindset strategy, you have to have that open mindset of, I'm going to do this. It is worth it. So when I say that, meaning whenever your insurance is refusing to pay for this, are you all in where you're going to say, you know what? I am worth this. I am going to pay for this. And I lean from if it's important to you, you're going to find a way. You're going to make a way. If it's not
Hmm.
important to you, you're going to find or you're going to make an excuse.
I absolutely love that. And because that's where I was going next with it, actually, because uh, I've run across with my clients when I want it more than they do,
Hmm.
and that if they don't want it any more than they do, then or than I do, then it's ultimately not going to work out long term anyway. So thanks for sharing that, because mindset is so important when it comes to, I'm assuming, your care also with regards to your patients,
Yes.
because when they come to you, you're not you this is all on they have to be ready to change. And I think that's a problem for a lot of people.
And I, we get it. We get that change is hard. It can be difficult. Change can be difficult. However, again, with that mindset of, you can do it. You can do it if you truly want to do it. And like I explained to people, I know we tend to say, okay, I don't, it's discouraging to tell that individual, that don't. Because the first thing you want to do is do. So
Mhm, mhm.
like that individual and they will share with me, it's like taking the fun out of living, which you don't want to take the
Yeah.
fun. However, you want to be realistic. You want to be realistic with your nutrition, you want to be realistic with exercising, you want to be realistic with living. And to get where you want to be, then sometimes you have to stop what you're doing, or you have to minimize it, or you have to alter, you have to adjust what you're doing to get to
Hmm.
where. So when individuals, we have those coaching sessions or the group sessions, and you can just feel that energy and tension in the air when that individual goes, well, I am 100% perfect in everything that I do. No one is 100% perfect when it comes to this health and the wellness. You're just not. And if you live on this planet, there's no way you're going to be 100% perfect, because the air that you're breathing is not even 100% pure.
Yeah.
That's healthy for us. So you can't lean with that. Well, everything I'm doing is 100%. What you can do is always encourage individuals be in start and try to be in the 70%. That's that soft rollover to you're trying to upscale and improve your health or improve yourself. And then from that 70%, hit the 80%. So, the 80-20 rule, and then go 90%, and then go 95%. And then
Mhm.
keep it, or, keep it at 99%. Because my definition or my opinion is when you say you're at that 100%, then you don't leave yourself no percentage of, oh, I messed up, or not even saying you messed up. You have that wiggle room, leave yourself that little percent
Yeah.
play area, you know.
Yeah, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense, which is a good segue into the other things that I want to talk about, which is, of course, hormonal health, weight management, and our solutions for weight management nowadays. Because um, what I run into and have run into all the time now that I am 50 and beyond is, of course, people that are different now because of hormonal change.
Yeah.
They don't feel the themselves anymore, especially when it comes to a lot of women. Those days that they're dealing with, my wife, being one. But even men, either lack of energy, lack of focus, lack of, libido, or what have you. All of these things or even strength and muscle tone, and all these things that made us who we thought we were in our younger years is no longer. So, what's happening, if you don't mind sharing with us, in this process of hormonal change after the age of 25, 30, and all the way up?
Oh yeah. So when it comes to hormonal changes, oh my goodness, it's devastating. I'm going to say it that way because, and I'm 54, so I'm going to be transparent here. When it no one prepared me for this,
Mm,
and again, speaking to other individuals, I'm a medical provider, so when I say no one prepares you for this,
yeah,
I feel like I'm well versed and
yeah, yeah.
knowledgeable when it comes to this information, but I felt like a deer in the headlight of, you know, one morning I woke up and I looked at my belly and I'm like, well, where's that coming from? And
Yes.
when you were in your 20s, you could eat whatever and lay down and take a nap,
Yeah.
and then all, get up and all of a sudden, you exercise and you're better. Your stomach is flat again and your
Hmm.
tone. After you hit 50, it's like nothing is happening. you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
The brain fog is there. You
Yeah.
feel drained, you can't sleep, or the hot flashes for men, you feel a little irritable, not
Hmm.
filling up the car. The libido tends to be, affected as well, and it's for men and women. You go through those different phases, but what's happening is when it comes to the estrogen and when it comes to progesterone, when it comes to those hormones, they are steadily declining. So in your 20s, your vibrant is still there. When you get in your 30s, it's still there. However, it tends to start declining, but it's the natural decline, but not as much. When you get in your 40s, depending if you have a health situation, or like if you have premature surgeries, then you can push yourself into early menopause, or with andropause, it can affect your testosterone. But usually
Hmm.
around 45, that's when those hormones, they tend to start dipping. And when I say dip, they drastically start dipping.
Hmm. Hmm.
When it comes to estrogen and testosterone, your every organ in your body is, when I say it that way, truly every organ is affected by it. It needs estrogen to help it. You end up feeling like you're inflamed. That's because your estrogen has dropped. That's because your testosterone has decreased as well. So you experience the inflammation. You experience the joint pain, the frozen shoulder syndrome. You might be asleep one night, lying on your side, and you wake up that morning and you're like, oh my goodness, what's happening with my shoulder? We call it frozen shoulder syndrome. Is because of that estrogen has decreased so much, or it has declined, that is affecting your joints. It's affecting
Hmm.
inflammation. Estrogen and testosterone it helps to combat inflammation, or it helps to keep it in line so that it doesn't override your system. You have Inflammation is good when it's needed, when it's balanced. So inflammation is good. However, when you don't have that estrogen and you don't have that testosterone, when it's declined drastically, then that's when the inflammation it overtakes.
Hmm.
You'll feel it in your heart. You'll have heart palpitations. Well, that's because of the estrogen and testosterone isn't balancing out your heart like it should be. So that's why you start feeling that in your heart, you and your eyesight, vision decreases, and
Well, I think I lost you for the last second or so, Doc, on what you were saying, due to the technical or what have you. But we got most of what you were definitely saying. Um, one of the things that I have discovered just in the last 2 to 3 years is your mindset is trying to keep up with the you that was 5, 10 years ago. So you're still in that. I'm still that person mentally, but the body is definitely changing, and so sarcopenia is in effect and happening to the body as we get older because we tend to lose muscle mass and strength over the years. And
yeah,
so,
but
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Well, and I was about to say, when you're speaking of muscles, yes, your muscles are steadily declining again because those hormones are missing. Those hormones are what help keep your lean muscles. They're what help keep your muscles up the par. So whenever So what happens, and I'll say it this way, the estrogen and your progesterone, they drop, especially with women, or the estrogen and testosterone, that drops. And then the cortisol and the gremlin, those hormones, which are, I don't want to say bad hormones, those are the hormones those are like I'll say it, the stress hormones. So
Hmm.
the stress hormones. Those hormones are the ones that spike. Those are the
Yeah.
hormones increase. However, those are the ones that we do not want to spike. We don't want those to increase. Gremlin, the grem it's gremlin, but I think of it as the gremlins. If you know about the movie The Gremlins,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
hunger hormones. You feel like you're hungry, you eat more. So that hormone, it spikes So there's that balance whenever you're in your 20s, you're in your 30s, and again your early 40s. So those hormones are balanced. However, when you hit that 50 mark, and again, if you had some type of surgery that it caused you to go into early andropause or menopause, then yeah,
Mm-hmm.
your hormones are going to drop earlier than what they normally would. But again, when you hit that menopause stage or the andropause stage, then those hormones drop. The exercise that was recommended for you to do or for you to practice, those exercises do not hit the same way. You can't
Yep.
exercise the same way that you used to. So for an example, hit. I love the hit
Mm-hmm.
exercises.
Mm-hmm.
However, when you're in the menopause or andropause, it is not going to work the same way. You're going to stress your body out. The
Yeah.
cortisol
Cortisol.
adrenaline is going to increase, meaning you're going to stress your body out more, and it's going to cause that inflammation. So you're going to have to tweak the way you exercise when it comes to hit. So like with hit, you might only be able to do, I would say, 5 to 15 minutes of hit training for that week and leave it alone. you
Mm-hmm.
know
Mm-hmm.
that's what happens when it comes to that. And then when
Yeah.
it comes exercising, one of the best exercises you can do when it comes to menopause or andropause is to walk
Mm-hmm.
or speed walk.
Mm-hmm.
You have to focus on the running because again, running is good. However, what does running do? It's pounding your body. It's
Yeah.
pounding your, and that is spiking more of that cortisol, is spiking more of the gremlin. So, it's spiking more of the hormones that is a more of a deterrent to your body than the hormone that's improving your body. So you're gonna have to work with your body more when you hit that the 50 stage. And again, the belly fat, it's with menopause, according to research and the studies, with the belly fat, if I'm not mistaken, it's like you're gaining half a pound a week or more
Mm.
than 10 pounds in the first 3 years of the menopause transition.
Wow.
Yeah, so menopause is a different type of beast that
Mm.
really it rewires your fat storage system. And when it comes to the belly fat, that's your abdominal area. That's your visceral or just any of your organs. Really, that fat surrounding those organs, that's that visceral fat, and that's the
Mhm.
dangerous fat because it's surrounding your organs. So that's why women are more prone to having a heart attack when it comes
Yeah.
to the because the visceral fat, because
Wow.
your hormones are missing, because the stress hormones have increased. So yeah, you're at more of a vulnerable time in your life when the menopause or andropause has set in, and losing weight becomes more difficult because without estrogen, your body becomes more of the insulin resistant. Is dealing with insulin resistance versus using the insulin the way it's supposed to. And then when it comes to, you're stressed out, you tend to eat more, or some people tend to eat more the carbs or, the processed sugars. Well, that becomes dangerous as well because, again, it's
Mhm.
going to belly fat, it's going to your organs, you're adding on extra weight, it causes inflammation. So, yeah.
Wow. What a mix just this a whole big bowl of like how can I put it? Because it is an uphill battle.
Yeah, yeah.
And 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 it's a battle, but not an impossible battle to win, I'm assuming.
Yeah, there's a solution to it. And so I'll say it this way too. This is one great example. Generally, whenever I'm coaching my patients or clients, the for I'll say the younger versions,
Hmm.
I'll always say, eat your largest meal for at lunchtime. Because you're still up, you're still active, you're still moving around, you're gonna burn that off more. Well, when you're in the menopause or andropause stage, you're going to eat your largest meal from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. because that's when your cortisol level is at the lowest.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
the drive of the cortisol storage. So you see how that's flipped.
So are you suggesting that we eat our largest meal during the evening or no?
Yes, during the evening, eat your
Oh.
largest meal from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And so when I say that, and again, because I always again want to lean from, and that's why I always tell people, keep a little journal and you pay attention to
Hmm.
ways how your body reacts to it. So again, so if I have that menopausal, andropause individual, I will recommend start eating your largest meals at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And again, we're going to look at what they're eating, but again, that's where that specialized testing comes in. It's going to look
Yes.
what foods inflame your body, what foods are good for your body, and which foods are better for your body. And it's going to tell you, so I don't want to say bad foods. I'm just going to say it'll say
Yeah.
the foods that you want to eat a limited amount or foods you just really want to stay away from. If you have leaky gut syndrome, then why would you want to eat those foods? Stay away from those foods, which I know sometimes when you have that craving, I have the individuals like, well, Dr. Ferguson, I just can't stay away from it. Well, okay, if you can't stay away from it, you know your condition, you know you have leaky gut, then that's going to be up to you. You can eat it, however, you're going to reap the consequences of it. But so have a
Hmm.
plan after you eat it. So, I do have those individuals that do that and to each their own on that. However, but yeah, I will let that individual know to eat your largest meal from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eat that largest meal because again, that's when your cortisol level, that's when the cortisol is at the lowest and it's going to prevent that drive of the cortisol storage. And again, you paying attention to how your body is responding to that. So for some individuals, I'm going to say the majority of the individuals, that generally works for them, the 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. versus up in the daytime. Because when
Well,
it comes to
interesting.
cortisol is tricky, usually from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., that's when the cortisol level is spiked for menopause and andropause individuals. So that can be your stressful moments. That can be your most stressful time of the day.
So you got a window of stress.
Different windows.
And
Yes, different windows. So your body
then, then, then
different
after that, bring it down.
yeah, yeah. And again, this is that time when you're paying attention to your body. You really are paying attention to your body and how your body is responding and reacting to what you're doing, to what you're eating, and during this phase and during this transition of our life is and again, we're transitioning to another chapter of our life. So
Yeah.
we're in the prevention. We are really thinking prevention, and we need that nutritional support. So nutrition is our best friend because that's where we're going to get the phytoestrogen. That's where we're going to get the
Hmm.
natural estrogen from the food supplement, from the food that we eat, or from supplements. And if needed, which estrogen has received a bad rap. I'll say it that way. But there
Okay.
about modalities. You have the bioidentical hormone therapy, and then you have your
Hmm.
regular hormone therapy, and that's another class within itself. And I had a
Hmm.
class about that, and it was a great turnout. But it's a lot when it comes to teaching hormone therapy. So, I'll sum it up with bioidentical hormone therapy is exactly what it sounds like. It's more bioidentical to your body. It's more natural to your body. And when it comes to regular hormone therapy, that hormone therapy is more is the I'll say artificial hormone therapy or
Hmm.
synthetic or more chemical based, meaning that's the one that they made that in the lab using equine urine or horse urine. So when you think about that, you hear it's like seriously. So yeah,
Hmm.
hormone therapy it has its place. I I don't talk people into it. I don't talk people out of it. It works. However,
Gotcha.
and again, because I lean more on the specialized or customized side of it, then my goal and what any goal, I will say any medical provider, they're going to start you on the lowest dose possible. And you're on the lowest dose, your body is back to normal, as normal as it can be. You're feeling, when I say normal, you're feeling better. You're feeling like yourself physically and mentally. Once we get you at your dose, you're back to yourself, you're good to go.
Mm. Well, and I and there so there is some light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Because most people will probably feel hopeless, um, because of, once again, I guess earlier, lack of knowledge or lack of awareness, things of that nature. So I applaud you and thank you, once again for sharing. And everyone, please, reach out to Dr. Ferguson. One other thing, Doc, before we head out, is this is the one thing that's just taken over the weight loss industry over the past few years, a couple years or so, and it's becoming more of a hot topic, and that's weight loss medication. I would love to get your thoughts on it. If you have any foresight as to where it's going, and is it a necessary, or is it an easy fix? Is it a quick fix, a quicker fix, or what happens afterwards?
So when it comes to weight loss medication, I will say I always have to. I love to stay in the middle. I'll say it this way: you've heard the commercials with the weight loss medications. It's like,
Hmm.
medication will help you lose this, and that. And then at the end it goes, it may cause blah, 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 and you're like, oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
yeah.
So saying it that way, weight loss medication, it works. So there's different categories of weight loss medication. There is the hardcore, that chemical weight loss medication. Then you have weight loss medication that peptides, peptides is normal in our body. So,
Mhm.
and with me being in the specialty area, if I have individuals that would come to me and say, I want semaglutide, my mind is set, I want to do it. And again, I'm going to meet you where you're at. I'm not going to talk you out of it. I'm not going to talk you into it. However, I'm going to educate you about the medication. I'm going to speak about the pros and the cons of it. Depending on your situation, depending on your health and what you're dealing with and what you're going through, you take the weight loss prescription medication. We're going to use the semaglutide because that is the most popular one that's out. So you take I prescribe that medication to you. You take it. However, we must have a plan. What is your plan moving forward? Do you really want to stay on injection medication for the rest of your life? That's
Mm.
you need to really look at it. And again, it works. Semaglutide works because this is GLP-1 medication, and we have GLP-1 naturally in our system. So my goal is, if you do want me to prescribe that GLP-1 medication, now I want you to help me to help you to get your body, your internal GLP-1, your natural GLP-1. Let's kickstart that and get it working, that so that you can wean off of that GLP-1 medication.
Mm.
So again, you can take the medication. I'll say it is safe for you to take it, but not to be dependent on it forever. And you
Yeah,
don't. So again, there's the prescription medication, the semaglutide, then you have your peptide supplements that you can take that will surpass the semaglutide. And again, people don't know that these other supplements are available and that they work. So that's what's missing. And
yeah.
again, big pharma, they push the medication. However, when you're dealing with customized and personalized medication, you're going to speak on the medication that's available. However, I'm going to educate you to what else is available that's comfortable or works even better than that semaglutide. But again, I'm not going to talk you out of it. I'm going to
Hmm.
educate you about it. So with that person that they're adamant, or they feel like because I think about it, that person, their mindset, if they're in the mindset that they need that semaglutide, that is the only thing that's going to work for them, you're going to meet them where they're at. You're not going to talk them out of it, because that's going to be you pushing your belief and your opinion and your mindset on them versus meeting them where they're at. So if they need
Hmm.
semaglutide, I will prescribe the semaglutide, but we must have that plan to move forward.
Gotcha. So, and that was, like I said, one of my concerns was the off ramp um, with those types of medications, because there can be, I'm assuming you would know more so than I would, a dependency upon those approaches, and lifestyle doesn't change.
Mhm.
And I hope that there are a number or enough doctors, if not all, that are speaking about lifestyle change in the midst of providing this solution, because I think at the end of the day, if you're about patient outcome and better patient outcome, then I hope that lifestyle is going to be a part of the whole protocol.
Yes, yes, and that's why I speak of we must have a plan. And I call it lifestyle medicine because yeah, the medicine is great. And when I say medicine, supplements as well, but
Yeah.
it's that lifestyle medicine. So I tend to tell my patients and my clients, okay, let's write out your lifestyle prescription. So I say it that way. So that's their care plan.
Hmm.
Let's have that. And again, looking at the nutrition factor. But first, the first one we look at is the mindset. Where's your mindset at? What happens? Like I'll have those individuals to lose the 100 pounds, and 100 pounds, that's commendable. That's a lot of weight. And for me to see you or you to come back to me a year later and it's like, well, gain all the weight back. What happened with that? We need to revisit that. I mean, we need to look at that because that the
Hmm.
mind happened with the mindset there. And again, life happens, traumatic trauma experiences. I get it. However, with that being said, that means that we need to put some protocols in place so that you can deal with that trauma, so you can deal with those experiences, so that you can, quickly snap back. And then when it comes to, I will say this when it comes to exercising, because we really, having a virtual practice, being a high performing individual, and you're a high performing individual because you have your own business as well,
Hmm.
we have to always be critically thinking. So I'll say it this way: when I have individuals say that they don't have time to exercise, and that's generally when some people say, well, just give me the semaglutide because I don't have time for this, that. And again, what's important to you, you're going to make time for it. What's not, you're going to make an excuse. However, when it comes to exercise, you don't have to, in one setting, exercise for 30 minutes. I would
Hmm.
individuals, you know what, 7 minutes. And I will actually have them to do this on like a follow up visit. I'll say, okay, I want you for 7.5 minutes. I want you to, from where you're sitting at your desk or wherever you're at, I want you to go outside and go in and out the door, walk around the house. I want you to go up and down the steps for 7 minutes, but I want you to do that at least 4 times. So when 7.5 times 4 is how many minutes? I want you to do the calculation. How many minutes is that?
28.
So how hard is that? That's your exercise.
Well, yeah, yeah, I mean, that doesn't seem hard, to me, of course.
And
Uh,
again, it's the mindset of, when sometimes you have to set the person up, set their mindset up
yeah,
of this is quick, this is fast, this is easy, versus saying, okay, 30 minutes. Because sometimes when you hear 30 minutes, you do tend to think, oh, 30 minutes, I don't have 30 minutes, but you do have
yeah,
7. We have
yeah,
7 to go to YouTube and go, oh, look at that video. We have
yeah, exactly.
to look at the commercial. We have 7 minutes to get on the phone or do whatever we're doing. So you have 7 minutes. So I always ask individuals, break it up 7.5 minutes, to get your exercise in.
Yeah. Wow. I'm just glad I got that calculation right. I was like, oh. I was like, put to the test there. My mind started kind of going back to school days and things like that when I had to actually think about it in my mind. But without going to a calculator. So, so Doc, thank you so much. I want to. We've discussed quite a bit of information, from today's healthcare uh, to hormonal health and cortisol levels, which people don't. think about too often, to weight loss medication and lifestyle prescriptions, which I really do, I like that term. Uh, we've covered a lot. And I want to thank you so much for just being the person that you are out there in the trenches each and every day, helping people live their best lives.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I enjoyed coming and speaking with you. And a lot of individuals ask me, well, Dr. Ferguson, when are you going to have some webinars and classes? And that's coming. It's in the
Yeah.
works. I will be
Yes,
offering those. Yeah.
please do. And please share where people can find you right quick also, Doc.
Yes, so they can schedule an appointment or, just pop in at bellamedicalassociates.com. And we are in the process of revising our website, but it's always going to be bellamedicalassociates.com.
Well, that website is awesome. I can't see. I'm looking forward to seeing where it's going to go now.
Well, because we deal with the individuals and we deal with organizations and corporate and government, so we're
Yeah.
streamline it so that you'll know exactly where to go.
Okay, gotcha. Because like I said, I love your website, already. So great job on that. But once again, Doc, thank you so much for hanging out with me and everybody. I'm sitting here and I'm saying to myself, wow, she is just the personality, the attitude, the tone, everything is just awesome about Dr. Ferguson. And so and I'm just impressed with her knowledge and her passion for doing what she's doing. So get out there and like I said, I bring these individuals to the show so you can have access to them and so you can know about them. So make sure that you get in contact with her, look her up, and like I said, check out her website. It's awesome already, but it's going to get even more awesome. She has information out there where you can learn, when it comes to just health and wellness. And she treats a lot of health issues, and so she's a go-to person. So get in contact with her. And everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with me for another episode of Living Your Best Life. And hey, next time we're going to do it again. Help you live your best life by bringing you these professionals that are out there in the trenches helping us do just that. So y'all take care and I'll catch you on the next one. Be good. Peace.